I'm Doug Brown. The Arizona Cardinals will bring back wideout A.J. Green on a one-year deal. He caught 54 passes for 848 yards and 3 touchdowns last season. The last 2 games of the NBA play-in tournament are tomorrow night, both on ESPN Radio. Road teams are 0-4 so far, but ESPN's Vince Carter says the Hawks could be dangerous in Cleveland.
If Trey can get his guys going early, if they can knock down shots early and they're able to get into the paint where Trey can dominate in the second half, look out for the Hawks because they understand what it takes to win in big games.
Hawks Cavaliers, then Pelicans Clippers, both tomorrow night here on ESPN Radio. Tiger Woods plans to play in a 2-day Pro-Am in Ireland in early July. That's just 10 days before the start of the 150th Open Championship, which will be played on the old course at St. Andrews. Woods isn't sure yet if he'll play in the PGA Championship in May or at the U.S. Open in June.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Pelicans won!
10-point lead. Shot clock at 7. Ingram bounce read to Jonas. Drives in. Kick it to Herb. Dunk it in. Herb Jones.
Smoke him, Herb. Smoke him while you got him.
Two-hand flush. Pels up 12.
Game blouses.
Give me more, Grab. Give me another one. Just give me something else.
Zach Collins checked in along with Josh Richardson. Boyd Jonas missed the free throw. There's Herb Jones over the offensive rebound. Now Ingram drives it up himself.
Have some. Have mercy.
Get out of the way. Two-hand flush, Brandon Ingram. Get on your feet, New Orleans. My goodness.
What are you yelling at? I love it so much. Give me more. Give me more. Give me something else, Musa. Give me more, Graf.
Kick it right corner to Vassell. Shot fake on Alvarado. Didn't pull the trigger. Shot clock in 1. Alvarado with a steal. 3-on-2 break. Jose will back it out now. Leave it for CJ. Right wing 3. Get in there.
Yes, sir. Christian James McCollum. Welcome to the play-in.
John went with the full name. I want more. Is that all of them?
That's all I got. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. No, hold on. Wait a minute.
All right, what do you have? What do you have? Give me more.
I haven't listened to this one. We'll just go with it.
Give it. Give it.
I want it play.
Damn it, Musso.
Up 6, 9:50 to go, second quarter. Jose, left wing. Get it down low. Najee spins right, spins left, kick it back out to Jose. Pops the straightaway 3. Oh, my heavens.
Jose, can you see a wide open 3?
Happy birthday, Jose.
What did John just say?
Jose, can you see a wide open 3? Happy birthday, Jose. Oh, my
I like it.
Oh, my. If you're not listening to the Pelicans broadcast, why not? Pels win. They beat San Antonio 113-103. Yes, I did fade the Otter last night, by the way. Otter said take Spurs in 6 on Scone and T last night. I said, oh, no. with the way that building was going to be last night, with the way the building was last night. Your New Orleans Pelicans do, in fact, win the first of their play-in games. They take it against the Spurs 113-103. It was a damn chair. I swear to God. Like, how in the world do we even function in this building with this stuff? It was an incredible night. Incredible atmosphere. CJ McCollum, who, look, remember, CJ, 27 in the first half, 32 for the night. Remember, CJ was here in 2018 when the Pelicans swept his Blazers. So he had a taste of it from the other side, but CJ McCollum, man, after the game summed it up. You can sense that it's building towards something special right now.
This is the start of something special for sure. You can see the energy, feel the energy. You know, I got my mother's in town. I've had some family come in town, and when they go out to eat and things of that nature, you can kind of feel, you know, the city is starting to be excited about basketball, as they should. There's a lot of talent here. We're hungry. We're playing the game the right way, and there's going to be a lot of winning in our future. So I think this is indicative of the type of support we'll have going forward. I'm happy about it. I'm excited. I think, you know, obviously we got to go try to take care of business in LA, but once we get back here, I look forward to seeing more sellouts. I'm sure the fans do, and we'll reward them with, you know, a high level of play, a high level of energy, and we'll leave it all out there on the court. I have seen it like this. It was like this when Drew and AD were here, so hopefully, you know, we get back to that here.
We'll talk a bit later in the show about the game tomorrow. We'll certainly preview the game when we're here tomorrow. We are doing a show tomorrow, by the way, so we will be here on Good Friday. But look, the game itself last night, so the Pelicans win. They beat the Spurs. They advance. They'll play the Clippers tomorrow night in the play-in game. It's a win or go home. If the Pels win tomorrow in Los Angeles, they're in as the 8 seed, taking on the 1 seed Phoenix Suns. The Pels are a slight underdog, about 4-point underdog against the Clippers. The Pels did win 3 of the 4 games against Los Angeles this year. So that's a team against which they had success. They did lose their most recent game out in L.A., but this is that was obviously you had some injury issues. You're resting some guys late in the season, but you did what you had to do on that West Coast swing. This game in particular, your stars were huge. You got from your star players what you expected. Brandon Ingram, C.J. McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas, they combined for 81 points in the game. That was phenomenal to see in that moment. The guys you needed to step up and play best. It was a really nice welcome to the postseason for some young guys. The night that Jose Alvarado had, Trey Murphy hit some big shots. And then Herb Jones was – I tweeted last night during the game when Herb had another one of those what is becoming sort of patented block and then transition buckets, that it's a shame the NBA doesn't know Herb Jones's name yet. Although Doris Burke did say on the broadcast she put Herb Jones on her first team NBA All-Defensive team. And tip of the cap to Doris Burke, who does an awesome job and covers the league as closely as anybody and knows her stuff. For that recognition, Herb last night played 37 minutes, scored 12 points, had 5 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Just filled up the stat sheet, man. That's what he's been doing for this team in this emergence late, and it was so cool to see it all play out the way it did last night. So, and then the other part of it is, DeJounte Murray, who – are we doing the Murray drop for DeJounte? Are we going to go that route?
Murray,
yeah,
present.
There we go. Why not? This is a guy who's a first-time All-Star. We talked about it yesterday. It's a first-time All-Star, averaging 21 a night in the 4 games against the Pelicans. The first time out, he scored 31. Since then, he's had a hell of a time against his team. He's averaged 14 points in the other 3 games, and last night he scored 16. So the Pelicans found a way to lock down San Antonio's best player, and, man, it looked like a runaway. I mean, it was a runaway with about 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and then San Antonio went on a run. They got it down to 6, and then New Orleans finished it off the way they did. So, man, tip of the cap to the crowd that showed up. And showed out. It was a sellout crowd. It was incredibly fun to watch. the way that it all played out last night. New Orleans, as we've talked about so often, is such an event town. When you give people a reason to cheer for something, to party, to celebrate, they will embrace their city, their teams, and that was certainly the case last night, man. It was a sellout crowd, the atmosphere, the energy, the environment, all of it on TV. It was so evident and so obvious, and it was awesome to see. It was just so much fun to watch that game last night to see him advance. I get it. It's a play-in tournament. You're not even in the postseason. But like what C.J. McCollum said in the postgame, you can expect to see more of this. Like, you're going to see more wins. You're going to see, more. You're going to see more fans. You're going to see the crowd grow. You give them a reason to be there, to be loud. They're going to show up, and that's happening with this team. And you can see why people are excited about this team, because it's building. Like, you have the young core. You've got the veteran star players. You bring in C.J. McCollum. You've got B.I., who's a great young all-star. You're going to get Zion back. It's just the pieces are there, and it's going to be fun to watch them continue to grow. So, look, even if they beat the Clippers, they're going to get bounced with relative ease by the Suns. The Suns are the best team in the NBA. They have been all year, oddly coached by former Hornets coach Monty Williams. But it just doesn't matter. Like, taking this step from where they were starting the season 1-12 to being in a spot where you win a play-in game, you'll win away from winning this play-in tournament, being in as the 8th seed. It's just awesome. I mean, it's an awesome, very obvious sign of the progress they made throughout the season, which is really cool. So congrats to the Pels on the win last night. Again, they'll play. It's going to be a late tip tomorrow, y'all, because they're on the West Coast. So, and you got to get your primetime audience. So it's going to be a 9 o'clock Central Time tip, which means nobody on the East Coast is going to watch it. I mean, it's going to be a 10 o'clock tip on the East Coast on Good Friday. But hopefully they go out, play their best, and win it, and punch their ticket into the full best-of-7 series against the Suns. But great win last night. All right, it's after further review. We got a ton to do today. Kendall Rogers next hour, talk some baseball. Scott Kushner was in the building last night. He'll be with us in 90 minutes from right now. Ross Dellinger has a great write-up at SI today on Brian Kelly. He'll be with us in hour 3, as will Larry Holder, talking some Saints. So we got a lot to do. LSU football, speaking of Brian Kelly, got a commitment from a 4-star safety last evening. Billy Embody of On3 Sports is going to join us next to discuss. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, where this feels like home. Rouse's, the official supermarket of LSU athletics. Remember, at Rouse's, they've got curbside to go and also delivery options. So if you don't have time to shop, or maybe you're COVID conscious and aware, or maybe you just can't physically get to the grocery store and shop, Rouse's makes it easy for you at any of their locations. So go to the website, rouses.com, rouses.com. There's a delivery and pickup tab right at the top. You tap that, and then you could follow all the instructions to get your groceries either delivered or for the curbside pickup app. It's all about ease and convenience for you. That's at Rouse's. Rouses.com, rouses.com, locations all over South Louisiana. Of course, you know where they are. Everyday low prices with more than 4,000 items throughout the store. Do all of your shopping there. You can pick up dinner tonight at Rouse's, the official supermarket of LSU athletics.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0% for 72 months. Shop our inventory or custom order your Ram with $2,000 bonus cash and a 1,000,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit dreams come true. And this year, we need your help more than ever.
We've interviewed these incredible kids, and each and every one of their stories brings tears to our eyes.
To have a dream granted means more to these families than you'll ever know.
And it wouldn't be possible without your help.
Dreams Come True has been hit hard by the events of the past year.
So we ask for your support in helping this incredible cause.
Our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Kushner.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I'm glad you're aboard with us here. We will delve a little into the LSU-Arkansas matchup here throughout the day today. Jay Johnson met with the media yesterday to preview it, so we'll delve into some of that. Good night for Brian Kelly, as he did, in fact, pick up a commitment for the class of 2023. It's four-star safety Michael Daugherty. Billy Embody from On3 Sports, good enough to join us to talk about it right now. Billy, thanks, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, Matt. How about you?
Very well, thanks, man. First of all, is it Daugherty or Daugherty? How does he say his last name?
Daugherty.
Daugherty. Okay. I mean, things I got to know, right? All right. Tell us about it, man. About the prospect here that LSU landed.
Yeah, Michael Daugherty is a really versatile prospect who plays for one of the best high school programs in the country. I mean, if you turn on ESPN and those early fall showcases, usually Grayson is on there, and Michael Daugherty is one of the players that has played really well for them over the past few years. He's somebody that I think LSU can see playing in a nickel safety role, with that ability to also move back to safety. But right now I would see him as a nickel. You have Greg Brooks, who has played a lot of nickel so far in spring, could move outside from what he told us last weekend. But you also have Sage Ryan. And then beyond that, they need to address the position. So Michael Daugherty is the first defensive commit of the class, four-star prospect on the On3 consensus, the number 22 safety overall. LSU beat out North Carolina, which had some ties with his family as well. So this was a good job by Kerry Cooks. He identified him early on. He was actually even recruiting him all the way back when he was an analyst at Notre Dame. So a solid pickup to kick things off on the defense side of the ball.
Is there a comp for him?
I don't know about a comp. I just think he's somebody that can play in that slot. He doesn't have that track speed like Terry Vincent did, at least verified. He's got plenty of speed from what you could see on tape, but that nickel spot is really where he fits well, and he's just been able to be so versatile for that Grayson defense. But at LSU, I just feel like that nickel spot is where he's best suited, and these days that's a really, really valuable spot. It says a lot about what LSU staff thinks of him.
Is how important of a position is safety going to be in this year's class, Billy? Because it does seem like LSU is kind of loaded at that spot in 2022.
Yeah, it is a huge position for 2023, in the recruiting class because, they've really got to restock that position. You have some players like Jay Ward who could be on the way out, to the NFL. You also have some younger players who haven't necessarily proven themselves just yet. So for this staff, they're really prioritizing that position in a big way. I think we could see 3 safeties in this class, including Michael Doherty. So they are on Ryan Yates, who just announced today that he'll be announcing a commitment bright and early on Friday, and he's a 4-star safety out of Texas, and LSU sits in a really good spot there. So pretty quickly, you could see 2 of the 3 spots taken up, and then they can kind of shoot for some of the big dogs like Yonel Aguero, who has been on campus a couple times. He's a guy that's in line to be a 5-star. Derek Williams, who's one of the best players in Louisiana and could end up a 5-star. There are a lot of other guys out there that'll, once I think these 2 dominoes have dropped, they can really shoot for the stars, literally with those 5-star types and go from there.
Let's look a little bit. I want to look a little bit at the 2023 class. We'll delve into some numbers, needs, and other stuff here in just a second. But, Billy, best you can tell, how is Brian Kelly and the new staff sort of being received as they're putting together their first full class here in 2023?
Yeah, I think it's been going well. They've done a really good job of getting guys that they want and are targeting on campus, and in some cases multiple times. Michael Doherty visited unofficially in, I believe, early March, and then was back on campus for that official visit. And you have Yonel Aguero, who's taken 2 visits. Just today, Dante Moore, one of the best quarterbacks in the country, locked in his official visit after he took an unofficial visit earlier this spring to LSU. So you're seeing a lot of these players get on campus, and they're all top targets. They're not necessarily guys that are passing through town for a tournament. There's a little bit of that, but for the most part, this has been a really targeted effort to get their top prospects on campus, for them to show them facilities, meet with the coaching staff, get the plan that Brian Kelly and his staff have laid out. I think it's been well received, and we'll see kind of just if it pays off. Of course, it's still early on. They have just 3 commitments, but they're about to start picking it up as far as official visits go with the month of April with the spring game, and then in June it's going to be really busy, and that's where we'll see if they can really start stacking some recruiting momentum.
Hey, Billy Embody's with us from On3 Sports on Twitter at Billy Embody. Let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned just 3 members of the class so far. What should we make of the 3 commitments so far? What they've done, and then obviously just the number, which is relatively low to some other programs right now.
Yeah, I mean, Omarion Miller is one of the best receivers in the country, and he's an in-state prospect that they've held on to so far, during this recruiting process, and he was committed to Ed Ogeron and his staff. Then you add Mac Markaway, who has a ton of ties, played with Kerry Cooks in college, and it comes from a family of tight ends. I mean, he's got a cousin in the league. His dad played college football at Iowa. His uncle also played. And he's somebody that addresses a need there at tight end, and he's one of the better ones in the country. If they get Ryan Yates tomorrow, they're really on a roll as far as the safety position goes. I wouldn't worry too much about the number right now. It was a few years ago, Ed Ogeron and his staff, I believe, were sitting there with the number 1 class in April. It included guys like Rakim Jarrett, Jermaine Burton. I think Keanu Cote was in there, but maybe he was later on in the summer. And everything was all great, but in the end, none of those guys signed with LSU, and so it's about building it the right way. And that wasn't an indictment on O, but Brian Kelly's pretty adamant that when these guys commit, they need to be done. They need to shut it down. And if they're not ready to do that, then he just says, all right, well, let's circle back here, and you can come back for another visit to see if this is the place for you, or take other visits, but. Overall, I just think they're doing a good job of kind of building some slow momentum. We'll see if it pays off in the end. But I wouldn't get too concerned with the low number right now. I think we could see it start to pick up as the spring and summer rolls along.
Two more things for you. Can you go into the calendar a little bit and how that shapes up here as you move through, as you mentioned, spring and summer?
Yeah, now with spring ball still rolling on in the spring game, they're still hosting prospects. They're going to have some official visitors in for the spring game. I mentioned Dante Moore, the number 4 quarterback overall in the country, a guy who's a 5-star prospect, and then Carnell Tate, another 5-star prospect. They're going to have him on campus for the spring game, and he's really close with Dante Moore. He's one of the best receivers in the country. So you're going to see those type of visits pick up now, and then June is going to be crazy with official visits. The first one that I was made aware of, at least today, was 4-star defensive lineman Kendrick Gilbert, letting me know that he was coming in for that first weekend in June, and that summer will just be that month will just be crazy with official visits and camps and all of that. And then in a couple days, we see the staff get back out onto the trail. Or at least they're allowed to get back out onto the trail and go see prospects as they start picking up their high school spring balls, and they can do that all the way until May 31st. So it's kind of that mini sprint before the end of June when it all goes dead for July.
You mentioned don't be too concerned about the numbers right now. When do we know how Brian Kelly likes to structure a class? Is it something where, some coaches want as much hay in the barn before fall starts? Obviously, you'll take all those commitments. Some want to wait. Do we know what Brian Kelly's preference is there, or the staff?
I'm not sure. I think it does go back to what I kind of said earlier, where he wants guys that want to be committed. And, that's kind of any coach, but just from what I've heard, he's been pretty adamant about that. And, I think recruiting in the South sometimes, silent commits, happen all the time. And so that's something that I think we'll hear about at some point with a prospect here or there that ends up not working out. But for the most part, it seems like it's something that he's pretty adamant about, guys committing and going public and doing that whole thing, rather than maybe saying, I'm committed. Or, okay, well, why are you going public and things like that? That's kind of just a little bit as far as what I've picked up from him. And, he's letting a lot of these guys play out their process. I think, you look across the board at all the different positions, and it doesn't seem like any of these guys are in a rush. I'll be honest with you, not many of them are. And so I think that plays into LSU's hand a little bit. They are playing a little bit of catch up on the 2023 class. Any new staff across the country is. But they've done a good job getting guys on campus, and we'll see how it pays off in the spring and summer.
Latest is 4-star safety Michael Doherty. He is now a member of LSU's 2023 commitment list. You read about it there at On3 Sports. He's on Twitter at Billy Embody. We appreciate it as always, man. Have a great weekend.
Anytime, Matt. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. Good stuff there from Billy. It is After Further Review, where always love telling you about our friends over at South Point Volkswagen at southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Whether it's the Atlas, which is the 3-row 7-seater family SUV. Actually was having a conversation with the Brain earlier today about that. The Brain Haldane family. They are Atlas owners now. 3 children. The 3 rows benefit their family. Busy lifestyle. Plenty of room for all of it. We've taken our Atlas on family vacation before. Plenty of room for the luggage and all that stuff. So you can test drive one, or maybe it's a Jetta, Passat, Tiguan. That's a compact SUV. Find the vehicle that best suits your needs. Tons of different models over at South Point Volkswagen. 9 different IIHS top safety picks. The great German engineering without the cost, since manufactured right here in the USA at their Tennessee plant. South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highlander, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, it's After Further Review. Quick break, come back. Let's hear some of what Jay Johnson had to say about the Hogs. His LSU-Arkansas game 1 tonight. 3 hours from first pitch right now. 6:30 p.m. will be first pitch of game 1. It is Mikhail Hilliard against Connor Nolan. That's coming up. Also, we'll go around the SEC. Kendall Rogers, 30 minutes from right now. Well, it's not only preview LSU, Arkansas, but also the entire weekend ahead in the Southeastern Conference on the Diamond. Ross Dellinger in Hour 3. We'll also talk to Larry Holder in Hour 3. So a ton to do, and glad you're hanging out with us here on this Thursday edition of AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
Hey, look, if you need a place to watch your NBA play-in action, Pluckers. Need a place to watch Major League Baseball action? Pluckers. Maybe you just want a spot to go eat a ton of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, drink some ice-cold draft beer, watch whatever your favorite sport is on TV. Pluckers is the spot. Nicholson just south of campus, or Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. LSU at Arkansas tonight. Maybe you don't have the opportunity to stream the game. Every single LSU game all season long, if the Tigers are playing, you can watch it at Pluckers. Nicholson just south of campus, or Bluebonnet right in front of Mall of Louisiana. Maybe Major League Baseball is your game, your favorite team, out of market. You can't watch the games. You can always get by Pluckers. They will have every single game with the MLB app all season long at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine-in, carry-out, or delivery via Uber Eats or DoorDash. It is Pluckers for award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, sports on TV. Pluckers, you don't like our wings. Give it the bird.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Kids have staked out their place at Auctioner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Yes! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Auctioner Health Center for Children.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
That sunshine.
Hey, look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthier. My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why.
Have you found yours?
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
LSU at Arkansas tonight. Jay Johnson met with the media yesterday before the team left and did give a little bit of a thumbnail on this Arkansas team.
I mean, they're talented. I mean, nobody has recruited better in college baseball over the last 8 years than Arkansas in terms of talent, skill, tough kids, and so it'll be a fun weekend. Can't wait for it.
Jay Johnson will put his lineup together. We'll see it a bit later, but one would assume that we'll see exactly what we saw on Sunday with Stevenson in left and Pearson in right. And, it's interesting as when you listen to Jay talk about Pearson now that he's in the lineup, you could tell it's something that he's had an eye on for a while. And I think they knew this was always a possibility. I mean, there was a possibility that Pearson was they worked a lot in the preseason with Pearson right, Pearson DHing, and there was some thought that he was going to be the opening day DH. And, of course, that became Beloso, and then Beloso was hurt, and then Joe Bear took that role as Joe Bear really started to swing a hot bat. But one of the things that's so interesting, 6, please, was listening to Jay talk about Pearson because, and we talked about this a bit on Monday, yes, the homers are nice, and everybody pays attention to, but there was so much more at the plate that Pearson did exceptionally well that if he can continue to carry through, it just makes him a valuable piece in the bottom of this lineup.
Even when he doesn't drive the ball or get hits, he takes good at-bats. And we need more of that if we're going to be an elite team. I mean, like, we're going to hit our homers. I mean, and that's great. And trust me, I'm never not going to high-five a guy for that. But when we move the ball, when we take our walks, get hit with pitches, fundamentally sound offensively, we score 10 and 12. And that's what we want to be. You know what I mean? Like, you want to put the whole thing together. He's probably one of the guys on our team that helps us do that better than anybody else. So when I say, like, it's his time to play, it's his time to play.
Meaning he's going to be your everyday right fielder. And that's settled now. Jacob Berry's your third baseman. Josh Pearson is your right fielder. They want him in the lineup every day, and he deserves to be. And I'll point out, look, on Friday, I didn't love the move to bunt first and second, to bunt the runners over and give up the out to a pitcher that was struggling with command. I mean, y'all know how I feel about bunting. But they did. Pearson came up. Your job in that spot is get that run home. You have got to get the ball to the outfield. And he did. He flew out to left, but a sac fly got the run home. I mean, that is a productive at-bat, what you need in that moment. I mean, we saw that from Pearson throughout the weekend. In Game 2, when they brought the lefty in, the hard-throwing lefty, like, maybe it was Game 1. He just ran up his pitch count. Like, he was just fouling off pitches, being pesky, because that's what you needed, was show every guy behind you everything that guy was throwing. Those are just and then, of course, the homers on Sunday. If he's homering, if it's sac fly, if just working a count, he's giving you productive ABs. And when you have that in the bottom third of your order, when you turn it over, it's Morgan, Cruz, Berry, Doty. I mean, that dude's pesky and gets on base. Here come the run producers behind him. So it was exciting to see, and it's definitely impactful for this team. See how he does this weekend. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com, 288-8138, 288-8138, or reliefwindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. That's energy-efficient replacement windows. Beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. You want to find a way to lower your energy bills during this summer? Install windows from Relief Windows. They'll make your home more energy efficient. They'll save you money on your energy bills, and they'll increase your home's resale value. It's a fact. We had our home appraised a couple of years ago after we had our windows installed. We got credit on our appraisal for those windows. Lifetime transferable warranty, 288-8138, 288-8138, or reliefwindows.com. All right, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Linebacker Yanze Pierre has committed to Alabama. 6'4", 231, committed Thursday morning. Picked the Tide over Florida State, Georgia Tech, Florida, and Penn State. He's number 18 player in the state of Alabama for the class of 2023.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
That went right on Paul's console. I mean, that went right in his lap. Sorry about that, Paul. Georgia had another star player to their baseball injury list. This time it's Cole Tate, their starting shortstop. Georgia is hosting Texas A&M this weekend at Foley Field. Tate is expected to miss several weeks with a stress fracture in his leg. He's got 99 career starts. He's hitting .331 for this team with 16 RBIs, defensive anchor, so you're losing your starting shortstop. So third baseman Josh McAllister will move over to short, and Parks Harbor will take over at third. That's that, friends. That feels like a Sharif Ishaq 5-star Frat-tastic name. Parks Harbor. H-A-R-B-E. Parks Harbor. Get Sharif for me. I got to have it. This needs to be a regular thing now. I got to go to it. All right, next.
The Florida Gators.
Cavassier Reeves has entered the transfer portal for the Gators, averaged 5 points and 1 board as a true freshman this past season. Gators have already lost 3 players with remaining eligibility. They have gotten some good news, though. Of course, Colin Castleton returning, a couple of transfers coming in, including Alex Fudge, but Cavassier Reeves on the way out.
The Missouri Tigers.
And Missouri basketball coach Dennis Gates has hired Dickie Nutt as an assistant on the Tiger staff. Nutt, who is brother of former Arkansas and Ole Miss coach Houston Nutt, has worked with Gates before, both Florida State and Cleveland State. Nutt was the head coach at Arkansas State from 1995 to 2008. On the diamond tonight and throughout this weekend, yet Texas A&M at Georgia, as we mentioned. Ole Miss visits South Carolina, LSU at Arkansas, Kentucky at Missouri, and Auburn at Mississippi State. That's your schedule for tonight on the diamond in the Southeastern Conference. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale, that's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products. Check them out online at gcopnet.com. All right, we'll knock out a quick break, come back, wrap up hour number 1. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Kendall Rogers talking some baseball in 19 minutes. We'll run through the SEC weekend ahead. The SEC, by the way, did announce football scheduling changes, a couple of games that are going to be moved. The openers for Tennessee and Missouri are going to be moved to Thursday night to start the season, as we've seen that become pretty commonplace now. And then also the Arkansas-Missouri game will be the Friday after Thanksgiving CBS 1:30 special that we all loathe here, and that Arkansas has learned to loathe because they're now saddled with Missouri, but that is now official. So season begins with Vanderbilt against Hawaii on the island on August the 27th, and then Tennessee's game against Ball State and Missouri's game against Louisiana Tech will both move from Saturday, September 3rd to Thursday, September the 1st. All right, it is After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break and wrap up hour number 1 next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Okay, y'all, Easter weekend is upon us. Are you going to have folks over, family over for the Easter holiday this weekend? You better get by Clegg's. It's a great time to do it right now. Of course, you can go tomorrow or Saturday. Visit any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Buy those beautiful flowers that are arriving daily by the truckload. It's at Clegg's Nursery. Siegen Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Find the location nearest you, and then just get by Clegg's. If you're not sure what to buy, don't worry. They do. Maybe you're a green thumb and you're super savvy when it comes to all things out in the lawn and garden. If you're not, no worries. You want a beautiful lawn? You want to add a pop of color to those patio pots or the flower beds at your home? Clegg's can help you do it affordably, and they can certainly tell you exactly what you need based on how much maintenance that you really want to take care of. Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local, tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
There it is, the extra mile. on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we're making this all too familiar of an occurrence. Sharif Ishak, who, as we've gone over this many times, not very talented, not very smart, not very good at his job, but there's one thing to which I will defer. To someone I've known Sharif and I have known each other for a very long time. We were in at LSU and Manship School together at the same time. Took a lot of classes together, and so I know Sharif. I know him well enough to know not very tall, not very handsome. Sharif. I'm not off base here with any of this, I don't think. But the thing that you know, my goodness, do you know a frat name? You do know a frat name. And that's how we have to defer to you. And we just stumbled upon, maybe this is just baseball season, which is just presenting all of these opportunities. First of all, how are you?
I'm doing way better than you, of course, as always.
That's not even possible. You could not. You know what? Now that I'm looking at this right now, Paul's got your headshot there in the double boxes. So it's me and then you, and both of us here with the bald dome look. And look, I'm going to tilt my head that way. So we're like, if you're not watching on YouTube, then this is completely lost on you. But basically, Sharif and I right now on the screen have the same pose. Okay, so we're doing around the SEC, and Georgia's shortstop gets hurt, so they move the third baseman over to short, and they put a new third baseman into the game. And the third baseman's name is Parks Harbor, Harber, Parks Harbor. So, Sharif, I ask you, the gatekeeper of all things frat, how frat is it, Parks Harbor?
Parks Harbor is going to get you that 5-star.
Oh, yeah! Give me that 5-star. That's what I like to hear. Okay, so
absolutely,
I'm glad I spotted one. I spotted a 5-star. I may not be able to spot a 5-star receiver or offensive lineman, but a 5-star frat name, I'm on it now. All right, so what was it about Parks Harbor that puts it over the top?
You don't get the name Parks often. You get the name Parker, but whenever you go a straight recreational name, oh yeah.
Yes.
It's an immediate spot. Have you heard of the name Parks before?
No,
Honestly.
no, I can't say that I have. Wait, cranked it up, Muso. You would. Yes. Made for you, Parks Harbor. Not a surf. Hey, Sharif, do you remember this song?
No.
You don't remember the
I'm from
song
New Orleans.
Popular
I'm
by
into
Not a
rap.
Surf?
No. I'm a rap guy from New Orleans. You know that.
All right. Poll question for today, Muse. Do you know the song Popular by Not a Surf? That's the poll question for Citizens Bank poll question. Muso and Paulie had no clue. Sharif, you never watched like TRL or The Box back in the day, the music video channel?
I really did watch it, but
man, and you don't.
There are a lot of things that I don't understand, like when it comes to the music you like. I really
No,
don't.
I'm not saying I
just
like
love
this.
rap.
This is terrible. It was just one of those songs that was a one-off by a one-hit wonder that was so different and weird that it was popular. Anyway.
I'm glad that you called me twice this week. The pleasure is all yours, not mine this time.
That is absolutely not the case at all. I mean, I believe this is probably the most popularity that you garner in your professional career is when you have the pleasure of spending 3 minutes on this show to talk about frat names. Has anyone else ever approached you about anything else you've done on air? Ever?
No.
Exactly.
Absolutely not. The
Exactly.
frat skit is the best thing I could do.
See?
I mean,
You're
I
welcome.
love it. If you call me a few times, I'm good with it.
You're welcome. I mean, but don't get used to it because baseball season's going to end, Sharif, and then you're going to go back to irrelevance.
Well, the baseball team, at least LSU is doing well now, and
Yeah.
you're not in their season.
You're like Windhorst. Windhorst, he's really whenever LeBron is on the move or something like that, Windhorst is the guy. You know, that's his sweet spot. If it's not involving LeBron, nobody cares about. The guy has a career because he went to high school with LeBron. Good at what he does, but that's why. You know what I mean?
So are you saying you're my LeBron?
Yeah, that's it. I'm LeBron. You're Windhorst. Exactly.
I'll take it. I
Okay.
guess I'm going to have a long career. I mean, I guess this show is now going to be a 5-star show thanks to me. and my reporting.
Actually, we call this a one-off, Sharif. That's what segments like this are. You don't build the empire on the one-off. The one-off is like the wacky dinner night that you have. That's not the thing. That's the staple, the core. You know what I mean?
Sure. I guess.
Just keep asking questions, Sharif, because obviously I paid attention in school, done quite well with my manship degree, and have gone on to just immense popularity and success. While you were you're good.
I mean, I don't know. I got a few awards stacked up in my house. Winning, manship awards. I don't remember getting any of those awards. I remember getting like a $2,500 check for being one of the best broadcast students in the country. I don't remember you getting that.
I mean, that's you want to know why? Because I was already working in the profession while you were still doing Tiger TV and other stuff like that. I was actually catching a paycheck while we were in college. How about that, Sharif?
I don't know. $2,500 seems pretty good. I'm just way better than you. It's okay. I'm better than you. You're more successful, but I'm still better.
Not in any way, except when we're talking about frat names like Parks Harbor. You did, however, but I'll probably credit your wife more for this. You did make an adorable baby. Your daughter is absolutely precious. But I cannot in any way give you credit for that. That can't be the case. It has to be your wife.
We named her after a soon-to-be successful baseball player, Dellenger. So there you go.
I love it. All right, Sharif. Have a great Easter. We'll see you later.
All right, man. You too.
All
Glad
right.
I could be on this show.
Yep. For once in your life, you were helpful. Thank you. Parks Harbor. Muse. Parks Harbor.
That is a good one.
We are tilling the soil here because you know what's coming. I mean, Bama Week is going to be here soon. I have not yet looked at Bama's baseball roster, but Sharif typically makes one appearance on the show every year. It's the Bama Week, and we go through the roster, and he rates the frat names on the Bama roster because it's Bama. I mean, it's Bama Bangs. It's Bama roster. It's Bama baseball. It's what it is. And there's they are an A+ creme de la creme Frat-tastic name roster. So we always do that segment with Sharif, but it just so happens that this week we've come across two names during around the SEC. What was the other one?
I'm trying to remember. When you said that, I was like,
It was Arkansas. Wasn't it? No,
that's one of his favorites.
He said there was a guy.
Zebulon.
Yeah, Zebulon. Yeah. Okay. Zeb. Those of us who know him best call him Zeb. Yeah.
Not doing this.
You're not doing what?
This whole fake out here that you know him. You've never met him.
Who, Big Z?
No.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, known him his whole life. See, Patrick Beverley got fined $30K for, with the NBA called egregious use of profanity. So the Clippers beat Minnesota in the play-in. Beverley, flip that. Minnesota beat the Clippers in the play-in. Beverley was cast aside by the Clippers. His new team, the Wolves, beat the Clippers, and he said, and I quote, "Take they ass home" 3 times during his post-game interview. Also went on Instagram, called them the weak-ass Clippers, and said to get the F out of here. So the NBA fined him $30,000 for what they called, quote, egregious use of profanity. Egregious use of profanity. Because he said the A word 3 times? He did put on Instagram the F word. That's part of it. Can you imagine if the NBA governed whiskey and wine?
AFR.
I'd have no money, which means I'd have nothing to bet at DraftKings. The DraftKings Sportsbook app, download it today. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. New customers bet just $5 on this play-in tournament, and you will get $150 in free bets no matter the outcome of the game. That's right now at the DraftKings Sportsbook. That's right, the Pels in the Peli play-in tomorrow against the Clippers. If you're watching, you want to bet on it, new customer, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge, one word together. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet just $5. You win $150 in free bets at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Remember, please use the promo code Baton Rouge at DraftKings. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Kushner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-backboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The Packers sign wideout Sammy Watkins. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports it's a one-year deal worth up to $4 million. In his one season with the Ravens last year, Watkins again struggled with injuries. He had career lows in catches and receiving yards. Steph Curry of the Warriors scrimmaged today. He's on track to play in Game 1 Saturday against the Nuggets. If he does play, he'll be on limited minutes coming back from a strained left foot. Even though there's a chance Ben Simmons makes his Nets debut in the East quarterfinals against the Celtics, Kevin Durant says he's preparing as if Simmons won't play. ESPN's Tim Legler wonders how much impact Simmons could have.
He can have moments where he guards guys effectively. I think offensively he's going to be a liability. And if I'm Ime Udoka and Ben Simmons is on the court and they're anywhere near the penalty, guess what? He's taking a parade to the foul line.
Tim Legler on Get Up. Simmons hasn't played in almost a year with mental health concerns and a sore back. From baseball, Blue Jays outfielder Teoscar Hernandez goes on the injured list.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
We don't know that conversation Baker Mayfield had with whoever he had it with in the front office, but he feels disrespected. And if that's the case, I'm rolling with Baker.
It's Friday with KJ and Max. It all starts at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
It's not your day, Muse. It's not your day. Hour 2, off we go. Welcome. Are you all right, bro? You just ready for the You're ready for the long weekend? That's actually, you don't get a long weekend.
That's it. We have to be here tomorrow. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Muse. Focus, bro. There is no weekend. We're here forever.
Yeah, we don't get to leave.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt. I am sweating. Nice job, Muse. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's
Okay,
name.
2 for 2. Muso. Okay. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right. We're here. Glad you are as well. Make it a good one. Scott Kushner, bottom of this hour, was in the blender last night. Pels. They are wheels up. They're in the air as we speak to Los Angeles. They'll take on the Clippers tomorrow in the play-in. Tonight, LSU baseball. Game 1 against our Kansas Tigers and Hogs, 6:30 from Baum Walker. Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, good enough to join us, talk a little bit about that series and the rest of the SEC weekend. Yo, dude, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Really well, man. We appreciate it as always. Concern about the Hogs after dropping the series last week to Florida?
I think the biggest thing for me is I think when you look at that series overall, I think it told me a lot more about Florida than Arkansas. I think Florida's a team that I think we would all agree last year and earlier this year we were probably questioning kind of how tough this Florida team was, like how tough this program has not become in the last couple of years. And I think, after Arkansas kind of rolled over Florida in the series opener with Connor Nolan leading the way, I was more impressed with the way Florida responded more so than I was disappointed in Arkansas. I still think Arkansas is a really good team. I think the biggest thing about the Hogs, though, Matt, is I think they're a long way, kind of like LSU has been at times, they're a long way away from playing their best brand of baseball. You still have Robert Moore hitting around the 240s. You got Brady Slavens, who's been very much up and down. Peyton Stovall up and down. Jalen Battles up and down. So there just hasn't been a lot of consistency for Arkansas. You kind of wonder if a rivalry series is kind of what this team needs. But, LSU's had plenty of success against Arkansas. So, in other words, who knows what to really expect this weekend, especially after the job LSU bullpen did over the weekend.
LSU's won 13 of the last 16 series against the Hogs, but Arkansas has won the last 2. So it's going to be interesting. Now, you mentioned Connor Noland. That transition is always interesting, bullpen to starting rotation, and especially since he's had to take the ball now on Friday nights. What should we expect from the righty tonight?
I think the biggest thing with Connor is that he's taken a massive step forward with his curveball. If you look at him, the last few years, he had started on Friday nights in the SEC before, but he was kind of an unorthodox Friday starter because he didn't really have overwhelming stuff. His changeup, decent slider, fastball up to 92, 93. Now he's kind of more 90, 93, bumping 94. He's throwing in a big breaking curveball now that before it was kind of more of a tight slider. Now it's a big-time breaking curveball. If he has that pitch working, he's really good. And he pretty much has had that working every single weekend this year. So, that's kind of what I expect. But if he's just a little off of that pitch, he's extremely, extremely hittable.
What do you think LSU's offense does tonight against Nolan?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for him is you want to try to get in the Arkansas bullpen. He's a guy that, once Connor Nolan gets in a groove, he's really tough to slow down. At least that's what I saw earlier this year when I saw him in Round Rock. He kind of got dialed in. From that point on, typical kind of junior, senior type of pitcher, he just got on cruise control. So I think if you're LSU, you want to kind of press the issue offensively early on, and we certainly know this offense is capable of doing that.
Flip it over, Michaela Hilliard against this Arkansas lineup. How does that look?
Well, I will say this about Arkansas: they're a free swinging group, and that that can be really good and that can be really bad at times. The thing about Mikel is we all know he's kind of all about command and all about that big breaking. So speaking of a big breaking ball, so I think the big thing for him is if he can just keep that breaking ball in the zone, he's got a shot to shut that offense down, especially as pedestrian as they have been offensively. So it's actually a kind of interesting matchup. Like I actually think he might match up with them pretty well, which means now, Matt, he's probably going to give up 7 runs in like the second inning now that I've said that.
I sure hope it doesn't go that way. Is the way LSU manages the staff right now, Kendall? Look, last week was, it was perfection. The way that Jay Johnson and Jason Kelly managed all of the different situations. Is that sustainable over the entirety of an SEC regular season schedule where you don't have your conventional Friday, Saturday, Sunday guys that get you deep into games?
Sure. You think about it. So Mississippi State back in 2003, for the most part, pretty much approached every single weekend and their entire postseason the same way LSU's approaching things, like they're just kind of piecemealing everything together. That team played for a national championship. So, is it common? Not really. Has it happened before? Absolutely it has. So, I think the biggest thing for me when I look at LSU is, a few weeks ago, the bullpen was just a huge question mark. If the starter wasn't getting it done, they went to the bullpen. It was a disaster. Now, all of a sudden, you look over the weekend against Mississippi State. Riley Cooper gave him a couple of innings. Paul Gravasi gave him a couple of really good innings. Struck out 4, and I think it was 2 shutout. Eric Wiseman is doing a really nice job. Devin Fontenot, Trent Vietmeyer. The list kind of goes on. And so, yeah, it's unconventional. But, I think LSU realizes, it doesn't really have a front-line bona fide ace. And so when you don't have that in the SEC, hey, you might as well just kind of piecemeal things together and make it where lineups don't get comfortable with a pitcher. You don't let them go 2 or 3 times in the lineup. And so far, it's kind of worked for them, 2 out of the last 3 weekends.
Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, on Twitter at Kendall Rogers. Y'all give him a follow. Tennessee, so their season's over, right? They lost a midweek game to Tennessee Tech?
Yeah, exactly. Their season's definitely over. What we do know about Tennessee, though, is, Jordan Beck said after the Vanderbilt series, give us wood or give us aluminum, we're still going to hit tanks. Well, we kind of found out that with wood bats, they don't necessarily hit tanks. So, that might be the only takeaway from that game. But, I think when you look at Tennessee overall, to give you an idea of just how good this team has been and can be, they get Seth Halverson back this weekend on their pitching staff. They got Blade Tidwell back a couple of weeks ago, but they get Seth Halverson back as like a random relief piece. Like he may come in and throw 1 or 2 innings a weekend out of relief. He was Missouri's Friday guy last year. So Tennessee is ultra loaded, but they're playing so well other than the midweek game that if you're Tony Vitello, you almost want to have a bad weekend before you get to the postseason.
Did we lose him? I think he dropped there. Yeah, he dropped. All right, we're going to get Kendall right back. I do want to ask Kendall about the rest. Okay, he's going to call him back. Okay. I want to ask Kendall about the rest of the SEC slate this weekend because it all starts this weekend. You'll have Thursday, Friday, Saturday series this weekend, and it is compelling right now when you see how once you get to the middle of the conference schedule, how things start to move and shape out. So LSU obviously made a big move last week with sweeping Mississippi State, and then Arkansas and Florida obviously sort of swapped. All right, so we have Kendall back. Yes, sir. You were talking about Tennessee and when we dropped. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I think with Tennessee, I think when you look at the team overall, I mean, for Tony, like you almost want them to have a bad weekend at some point just to kind of get their attention. Maybe that midweek loss is all they need, though.
Let's look at the rest of the SEC slate this weekend and what stands out. Obviously, LSU Arkansas looks like on paper anyway the marquee matchup this weekend. What do we make of Ole Miss, a team that at one point this year, Kendall, was number one in the country? Boy, they've really struggled.
I mean, I don't make a lot of them right now. I mean, I think when you look at this team overall, that they have gaping holes on the pitching staff. They had no consistency on the mound. I mean, you think LSU was in a bad spot a few weeks ago. I think Ole Miss is in a worse spot than LSU was. And I just think when you look at this team overall, Derek Diamond has not become the frontline ace we expected. John Gaddis, the A&M Corpus transfer, they thought might kind of nestle into a Doug Nikhazy type of Friday starter. He hasn't done that. And so, I mean, right now, their weekend rotation's in shambles. Their bullpen hasn't done a nice job. And I just don't like the overall body language of this team. I mean, I watched them against Tennessee. I watched them against Alabama. And I'm just not liking what I'm seeing. And we all know that confidence is fleeting. And, if you have one big weekend, everything can at least get dialed back in. But, man, I'm not liking what I'm seeing right now. And I think them and to more extent Mississippi State. I mean, I have Mississippi State finishing the year like 12-18 in the conference right now, which would mean they would not make the postseason. So weird year in the Magnolia State.
So I did want to ask, because Auburn's now ranked, obviously, and Auburn's at Mississippi State this weekend. Is Auburn for real?
I mean, I definitely would never predict them to get to Omaha. But, I'll say this about Butch Thompson's team, and I think you guys saw it against LSU. Is the thing about the Auburn is they have decent enough starting pitching. Joe Gonzalez did really well for them in that series finale against Vandy. But what I really like about this team is they've got some nice pieces offensively with Sonny D in the middle and Blake Rambush and guys like that. But, what I really like is a back end with Blake Burkhalter. I always like teams that can just turn to a closer in any game, kind of like Miami with Andrew Walters. But, Auburn has Blake Burkhalter, who came in the game against LSU, pumping 94, 95 with kind of that Kevin Kopps-esque cutter. And just having that kind of a weapon at the back end of the game, to me, gives your starting pitching a lot more confidence, and also kind of gives your offense confidence that, if it is 3-2 in the 8th or 9th inning, the offense doesn't feel the need to score 3 or 4 runs to preserve the win. So, I mean, I would say I don't think they're for real in the sense that they're an Omaha team, but, I mean, they're playing really well right now.
What do you think about Florida at Vandy? A couple of teams at 5-7 in the league right now.
I have no idea what to expect. I'll be honest with you. I have no idea what to expect from Florida on a given weekend. And the thing about Vanderbilt is they're to a point now where they have not, recorded a marquee series win. They've lost 3 straight series. And if they lose a 4th straight series, they're in a position where they pretty much have to run the table on the weekend the rest of the way to even host, which is kind of mind-blowing when you consider they started the season in the top 3.
He is Kendall Rogers, D1Baseball.com. He's on Twitter at Kendall Rogers. Make sure you read his stuff. Go subscribe up there, and I'll follow him on Twitter at Kendall Rogers. You want the best college baseball coverage? That's where you get it, at D1Baseball.com. Hey, man, happy Easter to you and yours. Thanks, as always, for making time for us.
You as well, buddy. Thank you. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. Did you notice the omission?
I did.
That's a first.
And I was ready for it.
That's a first time. That's first time, long time.
Yep.
Stuff right there. Kendall Rogers has been a regular guest on this show forever. And so, he was infatuated with the Todd Peterson drop.
Peterson.
And there's a lot of times he's just sort of lying in wait, knowing he's going to – sometimes it's the end of the interview. Sometimes, he'll come right at the shoot with it.
I was waiting for him to sneak it in somehow, and he didn't. He didn't do it.
He was so surprised by Vandy, Florida.
Yeah.
He's going to be disappointed. I'm going to text, but hey, man, you forgot the Todd Peterson drop.
Ted Peterson.
He'll be disappointed. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bonnet, Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey, and Lafayette. Online, theantiagingclinics.com. Beach and pool season's almost here. You want to look your best? They can help. Body contouring with VeloShape. They have Vaser Lipo as well, which is a minimally invasive outpatient procedure with no downtime. They can help you. And, of course, Ideal Protein. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. Let me knock out a quick break. ESPN, this has gotten a lot of attention today because ESPN posted their preseason top 10 according to the FPI. That's the Football Power Index. So that is a metric. This has gotten a lot of people's attention because of how bizarre the top 10 is. We'll run through it next on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out, 1hourbr.com. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the yellow trucks and vans with the giant clock on the side. You see them all over town. You can't mistake the logo. And plus, I mean, they're giant yellow vehicles driving around the town. But once you start to notice, you'll see them on busy intersections and thoroughfares, and you'll see them in your neighborhood and in your neighbor's driveway because thousands of Greater Baton Rouge area residents have trusted River City's 1 Hour Air for 40 years for all their HVAC issues. So before we get into these warm weather months, before we get into the heat, the triple-digit heat of summer, have your AC checked. Preseason AC tune-up. Mention the Moscona special. It'll save you $25. 752-0001.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. It should taste like beer. More taste, 96 calories. Miller Lite.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Hey, look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthier.
My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why.
Have you found yours?
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge Clinic bring you the Dreams Come True Radiothon. Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. The Dreams Come True Radiothon is presented today by Rev, Red Stick Sports, and Delta College. Donate today at 1045ESPN.com.
ESPN has released its preseason top 10 FPI. Now, this is going to alter as we get closer to the season, but if you're not familiar, the FPI is a metric. It's not people's opinions. It's in no way subjective. It is an objective algorithm. ESPN takes the data, plugs it into their computer, it spits out the numbers. So that's basically how this ranking comes. And sometimes we look at FPI, and sometimes FPI is spot on. And sometimes you look at it and you laugh. And this is probably one of them examples. Preseason top 10 based on ESPN's FPI. Number 1, no surprise, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Followed by the Ohio State Buckeyes at 2. Defending national champ Georgia at 3. Clemson at 4. Maybe a big bounce back for DJ Uiagalelei. Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, who had an epic collapse in their bowl game, which was actually funny to watch. Notre Dame at 5. Texas, they're back. Sark's got them back from 500 to top 10. Texas Longhorns 6. Michigan at 7. Of course, a playoff team a year ago before faltering in the Orange Bowl. No crime losing to Georgia. I mean, Georgia won the Natty. Oklahoma Sooners 8. Year 1, Brent Venables. It's going to be an interesting team to watch, how they fare without Lincoln Riley. The Pittsburgh Panthers, 9. No Kenny Pickett, no problem. Remember Keaton Slovis, the USC transfer, is the new Pitt quarterback. And then Auburn at 10. Who's going to be Auburn's quarterback? I remember Bo Nix is transferred out, so Zach Calzada from Texas A&M is in. TJ Finley is still there. They've obviously recruited kind of well, but, man, that was a little bit of a mess last year at Auburn. Year 1 under Brian Harsin. Remember, they fired his receivers coach like 3 games into the season. It really didn't go well except for the LSU game. I mean, ending their streak and winning in Baton Rouge, and that was more about LSU's collapse than anything in that ball game. But I guess Bo Nix did have some Houdini plays, but a little surprised to see that there. But what probably is most notable, by the way, if you go look at the FPI and they put, they have their rankings, as I mentioned, they've got Bama, as we mentioned, your top 10, right after Auburn at number 11. It's where you find your Fighting Tigers of LSU. 11 in the preseason top FPI. Penn State, Oklahoma State, Texas A&M at 14. Computers not liking the Aggies. Utah, Michigan State, Ole Miss at 17. Miami, Baylor, defending Big 12 champion, down at 19. Kentucky, and then rounding out the top 25, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Oregon at 23. Mississippi State, 24, and then there's the Gators at 25. A team that I think is probably a little devalued. How about Tennessee all the way down at 28, Arkansas at 29, team that was 8-4 a year ago, won their bowl game to get to 9 wins. Anyway, I guess I always find it interesting just to look at the FPI to see what the computers say. It's not a be-all, end-all, but it is a metric. I mean, it is a metric that you can use to make certain determinations, and it is objective. There's no opinion based in there. There's no bias based in there. But when you look at teams that have like a legit shot of winning the national championship, it's basically 4 teams. Bama has a 30% chance of winning the national championship. Ohio State has a 27% chance of winning the national championship. Georgia, 22%. Clemson, 11%. And nobody else has more than Texas at 2.3%. You've got Notre Dame at 1.8%, Michigan at 1.3%. So basically, this is a 4-team race for the national championship. Bama, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson. It's going to be one of those 4 teams. And that therein is the inherent issue with college football. But the most interesting part of this is when you look at the projected win-loss. So, yes, they've got LSU projected there with the 11th, ranked 11th in the Power Index. But the projected win-loss for LSU with FPI is 7.7 wins and 4.4 losses. So they've got LSU pegged somewhere between 7-5, 8-4, which my point that I've made here throughout this offseason is I think Vegas, when they put out their projected win totals, is going to have LSU's win total right at 7.5. I think the over-under is going to be 7.5. That's what Vegas is going to say. Basically a 7-5 or 8-4 team. And I think it's fair. I know what happens is when you follow a team or you love a team and you tend to accentuate the positive and sort of ignore or devalue the negative. But when you realistically look at what LSU has been the past 2 years, you're looking at a team that's been 500 the past 2 years. And a new coaching staff that inherited a program with 39 scholarship players in the bowl game. We're going to talk to Ross Dellinger at the top of next hour. And Ross has a piece up at SI today. When Ross was in town, it was around Mardi Gras. He and I did connect when he was in town. But Ross went and spent a lot of time out at LSU because he was doing this feature on Brian Kelly, which was published today. And we're going to talk to Ross about it. But one of the most telling things is a quote from Brian Kelly where he talks about, I'm scrolling through right now because I want to find it exactly, but essentially Brian Kelly says, as far as organization, this was as bad as I've ever seen. Like when he got here at LSU. So it kind of sheds a little bit of light on where LSU was and how far they have to go. Although it's something that I believe Brian Kelly will do. Here it is. Here's the quote. Forgive me. I wanted to find this, so I was reading it directly to you from Ross's piece. Brian Kelly said, quote, "This is not, hey, coach, coming down to LSU. We play in the SEC West. Take your time. The health," and again, this is a quote, "the health of any program is generally about organizational health, which is communication and collaboration. Organizational health here was probably as poor as I've seen it." That's a direct shot at Ed Ogeron. I mean, he's not cracking on Ed, but indirectly, so I shouldn't say a direct, that's an indirect shot. I mean, it's what it is. You have this man who's basically built his career around organization and structure, and he's won more games than any active coach in college football, and he's telling you the organizational health here was as bad as I've ever seen it anywhere. So that's what he inherited. That's what he's building or trying to rebuild through all of that. That's going to take time. Like, I think LSU's defensive line this year is deep and talented. I think their safety group is deep and talented. I think their receivers are deep and talented. Outside of Micah Baskerville, you don't have any linebackers that have done anything. You got brand new starters at cornerback. You're going to have all new starters on your offensive line. You added experience at quarterback with Jaden Daniels coming in. None of your running backs have accomplished a thing in college. I mean, you have just a bunch of question marks, and some of them are going to be answered to the affirmative. Like, linebacker may end up being really good. Baskerville, Jones, Greg Penn, West Weeks, like that may end up, you bring in Harold Perkins, that may end up being a really good unit. Offensive line, you may figure it out. Noah Cain, John Emery may be studs and go off. Maybe. Or maybe some of those don't work out, which is probably more likely. Some will, some won't. And so you're going to average it out in a tough SEC West, and you're probably going to be in that 7-5, 8-4 range if you get things to go your way. And like I've told you, I think this team's ceiling is 9-3. And if you go 9-3 and you win a bowl game and you get to 10, that's pretty awesome for year one. I'm not saying it's the standard here or the expectation, but considering where you were on December the 2nd when Brian Kelly was hired, that would be a heck of a leap if they're able to get there. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Scott Kushner of The Advocate is going to join us next. Looking forward to that. We'll talk some Pels. He was in the building last night. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit dreams come true. And this year, we need your help more than ever.
We've interviewed these incredible kids, and each and every one of their stories brings tears to our eyes.
To have a dream granted means more to these families than you'll ever know.
And it wouldn't be possible without your help.
Dreams Come True has been hit hard by the events of the past year.
So we ask for your support in helping this incredible cause.
Our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
McCollum pounded on the baseline, kick it to Jose. Right wing three. Shooter! 53-48. Alvarado with a heat check.
That was the wrong one. Muso's ready for his non-weekend. Scott Kushner was in the building last night. He joins us now. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good.
What was it like in there, man? It looked awesome on TV.
It's like a real professional sports atmosphere. Like, you know, I mean, it's just so like every 4 years you get the Olympics and you get like a great Pelicans crowd. You're like, oh man, this is fun. Like this is, if only this was like normal, which I think it could be. I mean, if there's ever been an opportunity for this thing to be sustainable, I think this is about as close as a chance they've ever had. But yeah, I mean, it was great. A packed house, the whole, you know, it was full an hour before tip, like a very kind of mind-bending experience for those of us who've spent a lot of time in that building the last decade.
I'll talk about the hoop in a second, but you said that it's something that's sustainable. I believe it is. Why do you think it is?
I think they have first of all, a very young roster, which, you know, you sort of just feel naturally will build upon itself. Playing 3 rookies in a playoff game is just so unheard of in the NBA. So that on its own just feels sustainable. You have Brandon Ingram locked up for a pretty long period of time. C.J. McCollum, obviously locked up for a little while as well. So stability on the roster front. And then just the genuinely likable way that this team has gone about itself. Like, they've built themselves sustainably. They've built it through, you know, just a very a group that has a lot of likable personality to it. And I think that has drawn people to them just as much as the winning has. Because to be perfectly honest, they haven't won that much. It's not as if they are a great team. Like, they had a losing record this season. They never ripped off like 12 or 15 wins in a row. Like, it was never about that. What drew people to this team was the fact that when you watch them play, it was really hard to not like them. And I think that is way more sustainable than just a team like in 2018, where the reason people got behind them is because they won a bunch over a really short period of time.
The us against the world sort of mentality, like, I think this fan base is rallying behind it. I think Kendrick Perkins' comments, JJ Redick's comments, and then to actually stick it to them is playing in this team's favor.
100%. There is a faction that is a fairly sizable faction now of fans here who just really love being slighted. There's a pro wrestling element to that, right? Like, the media is the heel, and the Pelicans are, you know, the face, and they really just want to push it back in everybody's face. Believe me, I've felt the brunt of it as much as anybody has locally, because I've questioned moves that this team has made, and I've questioned the commitment and all those kinds of things, and they are very eager, a very sizable portion now, to just push it back in people's faces and want to find and look for disrespect and then hunt it down and kill it. And I really think that all those guys nationally, and I guess me, have really played into getting people fired up about, you know, proving them wrong. And I think that is a motivating factor for a lot of reasons.
But you weren't wrong. This has been a very poorly run franchise for a very long time.
Well, sure. I mean, I would agree with that. I also think my job is to call it how I see it, you know, and sometimes I see it wrong, you know, and certainly I did not suspect when I was watching this team play in November that this is what they were capable of.
Well, this isn't the same team as they were in November. That's a very key distinction. This is not the same team. Roster, personality, makeup, all, literally, it's not the same team that started 1-12.
Yeah, and there were a lot of bad decisions that were being made at that time, which included, playing Garrett Temple, who's a great guy, but playing Garrett Temple a lot, playing Thomas Satoransky a lot. C.J. McCollum was not here. Jose Alvarado was in freaking Birmingham. Like, it was a very different team than what you have out there in the playoff game last night. So, totally different deal. I completely agree. But I also understand those who were like, you doubted then, you didn't see this coming. It's like, yeah, I definitely did not see this coming.
What moron thought this was coming?
Yeah, I
what
believe there are a lot of people
honestly thought this was coming when they were 1-12? You're an idiot.
Yeah. So once they proved it, I'm happy to say they're doing it, because they are doing it. I mean, you can't deny that they are a lot better, and you can't deny the trajectory of this thing looks pretty high. But, the reality of it is they're a team with a losing record. There's a chance to utilize this play-in game and get themselves into the playoffs. Well, they'll probably get hammered in the first round if they were to do it, but it would still be a major accomplishment from where they were.
It already is. It already is a major accomplishment from where they were. Scott Kushner is with us from The Advocate. He's on Twitter at Scott D. Kushner. Give him a follow there. Okay, so we got to move quickly here, but what was your biggest takeaway from the game itself last night on the floor?
Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram showed up, man. I think there are a lot of games the last 2 years where Brandon Ingram is a really good player for three quarters and could not finish games, and really wanted to finish games but couldn't. He did it last night. He had an awesome fourth quarter. Things got a little tight down there in the fourth. They turned to him. He hit mid-rangers 2 out of 3 times. I think that is a huge part of this franchise going forward.
How do they match up? They've had success against the Clippers this year, 3-1 in the 4 games. How do they match up tomorrow?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, they got hammered by them a couple of weeks ago in Los Angeles. Paul George is really good. It sounds really simple, but the NBA, a lot of times it is. Like, can you make some shots, and especially make them early and get them to scramble a little bit? If C.J. McCollum and, you're going to have to get something from Trey Murphy and Devontae Graham. I truly believe that. You got to find somebody off the bench to hit some shots and float that offense. And Alvarado played a big part in it the other night. But I do think one of those two guys is going to have to hit some shots in order to float them offensively when things start to bog down, especially with McCollum or Ingram out of the game.
That's a good answer. Any other keys against I'm trying to remember the games. I just candidly, the early season, I don't remember at all.
It was not very memorable. Yeah, I mean, especially the Clippers have been really hurt. Paul George missed a bunch of games this year. And they beat them up. I mean, straight up, the Clippers beat up the Pelicans 2 weeks ago in L.A. It was the end of a long road
Remember that
trip.
one? Yeah, but they did that was the trip where they won in Portland. They beat the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
They did what they needed to do on that road trip.
Yes, and it was a successful road trip that had kind of a sour finish because of that game. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's not as if this team when Ingram and McCollum play is good. They've won, I want to say, almost 60% of their games when the two of those guys have played together. It's not really out of the reach. I mean, the line has actually moved down. I think it started at 5 and now is down to 4. I think most people think the Pelicans can play with them, and the Clippers looked far from invincible against Minnesota. They blew a 9-point lead in the last 7-8 minutes without Towns on the floor. So it is far from an impossibility that they could go out and do it. It's just a matter of a couple guys probably need to get hot in order for them I don't think you can just ride McCollum and Ingram and expect to win on the road like that. I think you're going to need a lot more. They have a lot more firepower offensively than San Antonio, who, quite honestly, just really was not good last night for pretty prolonged stretches.
The Vols lost to Tennessee Tech. Your season's over. You realize that, right?
I know. The wood bats, man. That really doesn't look good for a team that got caught with illegal bats a couple times. So then we switched to wood bats and we don't score. It's like, come on. Let's go 20 runs a game with these aluminum bats. Who knows what we're playing with plutonium or something. I don't know, man. I was like, this is a bad call, guys. But
I mean,
they're really damn good. I'm excited, man. I think this is going to be like a really fun little SEC. Like you can see it all kind of gearing up, right? LSU's playing well, so that'll be. Do they play each other this year?
No, not in the regular season. No, they don't. You know what, man? It's going to be so disheartening for you when Tennessee gets bounced in their home regional. Like, you're going to have this great season, win the SEC regular season going away. I mean, that happened to Vandy with David Price one time. Like, they were the number 1 seed and they lost their home regional. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
Michigan.
Yeah, it's going to happen, man. I mean, it's can't you just feel it? I mean, you're Tennessee. You know it's coming.
The Arkansas thing last year was the ultimate, like, oh, that seems like something that'll happen to Tennessee. that like number 1 all year and whatever. I mean, they're really good. They're deep. They're young. They're all these things. But yeah, man, tournament play, and I think that's the best tournament in sports, right? Like, I think it's the best postseason college baseballs. I think it's like the fairest, but the most entertaining. And even that, you're just like, God dang, I know something bad is going to happen. I just feel it in my plums. Something bad is going to happen in these balls.
I can't wait to see it. I'll be watching. Scott Kushner on Twitter at Scott D. Kushner. Y'all give him a follow. Thanks, man.
See you, Matt.
All right. Be well. That's Scott Kushner. This is After Further Review, brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, gmfsmortgage.com. Don't wait. Get in touch with a local loan officer near you. Of course, you can have a great relationship. They could be your lender for life at GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. Again, save money by refinancing your mortgage, lower your monthly mortgage payment, skip a payment or 2 when you go through the closing process. It's gmfsmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. All right, Muso will have Tigers in the Pros to wrap up hour number 2. We are going to talk to Dellenger in about 15 minutes. If you haven't seen it yet, Dellenger today has his extensive feature on Brian Kelly up at SI.com. So you can go read it. Larry Holder in 30 minutes from right now. We'll talk some Saints. Haven't done really much Saints at all today. Just haven't gotten to it, but we will with Larry at the bottom, or excuse me, in about 30 minutes from right now. So when I got a quick break, come back. Muse will have Tigers in the Pros. We'll put a button in hour 2. Stay here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Agent225.com. Recently was chatting with Darren. He told me a story about a family that was selling a home. That it was siblings that were selling a home that belonged to their parents that they had all grown up in. So it was a very emotional sale. The parents had passed and the children were selling the home, and Darren, of course, sold it for them. And one of the things Darren did at closing was he commissioned a painting of that home before it sold. And at closing, he gave each of the children who sold the home a copy of the painting of that home. It's those types of things that set Darren James apart. It's those types of things that show the exceptional customer service, the commitment, not only to just doing a deal, but to thrilling people by the way that he treats them. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Kushner.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-backboatservice.com.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Got a text from Noel Nah, maybe Noel Nah, not sure. You always text us 225-396-4400, 396-4400. So, Matt, I don't have Twitter, so I can't participate in the poll, but hell yeah, I remember Popular by Nada Surf. They were a one-hit wonder, but actually had some decent stuff after that song. The rest of their stuff sounds nothing like Popular. We played the Nada Surf song Popular when Sharif was doing our Frat-tastic name earlier today from Georgia. Parks Harbor. Parks Harbor. Oh, it got a 5-star, 5 out of 5. So that was a poll. Muse had never heard the song. Paulie didn't know the song. Sharif didn't know the song. And Sharif and I are the same age. So what say Twitter, Muse?
78.3% say no. They do not know the song Popular by Nada Surf.
You'd have to be familiar with a one-hit wonder in a very slim, 19. Look up Nada Surf Popular. 1997? 1998? 1998. I'm going to say 98, maybe 99.
96.
96.
Released 1996.
So, you have to have been familiar with that in that very slim window. 26 years ago. Oh, my God. I ain't getting old. Muse says Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Atlanta Hawks, huge victory last night over the Charlotte Hornets, 132-103. Skylar Mays got into the game late there. 3 minutes of action. Was 1 of 1 from the floor. 2 points and an assist for Skylar Mays. Minor League Baseball action yesterday. How about this game between the Memphis Redbirds and the Charlotte Knights? 18-14 in 11 innings. Minor League Baseball. My goodness. Kramer Robertson, 1 for 3 in that game for Memphis. Scored 4 runs. Walked twice. 286 average so far for Kramer, playing shortstop out there for the Redbirds. His one hit was a single. And then Greg Dykman, another solid night for Dykman with the Iowa Cubs in AAA. 2 for 4 night with 2 singles for Dykman. Also drove in a run. Did strike out twice. 231 average as Dykman looks to make it back to the major leagues for the second year in a row. Major League Baseball action tonight. One Tiger in action that we know for sure. That's Kevin Gausman. He'll be on the bump against the New York Yankees. 5.40 ERA for Gausman so far on the season in his first outing against the Rangers. Pitched 5 innings. He gave up 3 runs. Didn't walk anybody. Struck out 5. So Gauss on the mound tonight against New York. That is Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're online at lmfj.com. Gentlemen, thrill her with a gift in the red box. Buying a diamond isn't something we often do, y'all. Make sure you go to the professionals that know about shape and clarity and size and settings, and they can help you make an informed decision. You'll always get a beautiful diamond that will sparkle and thrill her, make you a hero, and you can be comfortable with your decision because they're going to take the time to make sure that you get exactly what she's going to love. They guarantee it. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Sports Center's coming up. Gets caught up on national headlines when we come back. Ross Dellinger, big old feature piece on Brian Kelly. He joins us next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices, no matter what you need done on the vehicle. Shawbills can help you out. Need your oil changed? Shawbills. You need your tires rotated? Shawbills. Regular maintenance? Shawbills. Check engine lights on? Shawbills. Brakes are squeaking? Shawbills. Whatever auto service you need, Shawbills has got you, and they will sell you the best tires on the road, the name brand tires, the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. They guarantee it. Cheaper than the membership clubs, the box stores, all the other tire shops. It's because they work to get you the manufacturer's deal, and they'll also give you great in-house deals as well. It's Shawbills. Bumper-to-bumper auto service, name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they treat you like family because they are family-owned and operated and have been since 1968. That's Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Spring clean your garage with a newer pre-owned vehicle from Corval Toyota, where you never pay over MSRP. There's no markups, no gains. So reserve yours today. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Hey, look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthier.
My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why.
Have you found yours?
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports the Seahawks are finalizing a one-year contract extension for quarterback Geno Smith that's worth up to $7 million. He's been a backup for Seattle for the last 2 years. The last two spots for the first round of the NBA playoffs will be settled tomorrow night. Both games on ESPN Radio. The Cavaliers host the Hawks. The Clippers host the Pelicans. Even though he hasn't played this season, ESPN's Brian Windhorst believes the Pels should hold on to Zion Williamson.
Look, I know that Zion and the relationship with the team has gone ice cold and red hot at times. I would absolutely not move on from that guy. He's a guy who averaged 27 points and 61% shooting last year. That is Shaquille O'Neal level type stuff.
Brian Windhorst on KJ and Max. Ukraine will play its rescheduled World Cup playoff against Scotland on June 1st. The winner of that match plays Wales 4 days later for a spot in World Cup Group B with Team USA, England, and Iran.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Me, Uso. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Many of you might have already started your weekend a bit early. If you have, awesome. But appreciate you for hanging out with us here. I got a chance actually to visit with Delly when he was in town several weeks back. Turns out he was working on a feature piece on Brian Kelly, which published today at Sports Illustrated. Read it over at SI.com. Love the graphic, by the way. Let's Dance was the SI graphic associated with Brian Kelly doing the Uma Thurman dance. Delly, thanks for the time. How are you?
Good, Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing really well, thanks. So how long did it take you to put this feature together on Brian Kelly?
No, actually, not too long. It took longer to get it published. I'll say that.
Okay.
It was poor timing. We had March Madness, and you just don't want to drop a story, on Sweet 16 or Final Four week. And so we waited. And then we had the Masters. So we waited. So we this thing's been sitting in the hopper for about 3 weeks. It took me like a week or so, maybe 4 or 5 days or so to do it. I was in town for a day. Got to spend about 3 to 4 hours inside the facility at LSU. It was weird, I have to say. Right? I was a beat writer there for 5 years. I saw Les Miles in that office. I saw Ed Orgeron in that office. And now it was Brian Kelly in that office. And it was just different, And so anyway, I spent a day there. And then, a couple of days reporting, making calls. And then a couple of days writing. But it was a good trip. And like I said, just the big thing that stuck out at me in my visit is just how kind of weird it was, just to be in a football facility where I literally knew no one, right? Everybody cleaned house completely. So I think the only one I knew was Greg Stringfellow down in equipment and Yael, Brian Kelly's secretary.
Yeah. You mentioned that you've seen 3. I didn't actually intend to go that way, but sometimes, an answer will lead to the next question. But so you mentioned that you've seen 3 coaches there. It was weird, but what were some of the most noticeable differences in not only just like physical, like, right? I mean, they took down all the one team, one heartbeat stuff. That, of course, goes without saying. But, like, what else was different being in there?
I don't know. It probably didn't happen while I was in there, but I was told stories of some things inside the building. And let me paint a little picture for your audience that probably doesn't know a little bit about the LSU football operations building, right? And what things have been done in the building previously. And I can remember, club ops, as they used to call it, in the team room at the LSU football operations building. And club ops is where before a team meeting, they turn off the lights in the team room, and they had strobe lights and loud music, and people would dance and stuff like that. Let me just tell you, that ain't happening, I don't think, with Brian Kelly. Okay, so that's the first change. There's some stories that I've heard, and I think I wrote about a little bit about. There's some players walking around, playing loud music or whatever, and they were told, stop it, turn it down. Like, I've talked to Brian about that, because I'd heard those things before I went in, that he was more strict and it was more business-like. And Brian is like a business guy. He's very different from Les Miles. He's very different from Ed Orgeron. Those 2 coaches, were more football coaches, right? They they embodied a football coach. Brian was a former political aide in Washington, D.C., so he's from Boston. So he's very different, and he's a little more probably organized and structured, right? And treats it more like a business. And so you just got that feeling from the building. You just got that feeling from the building.
Did you know Brian Kelly before you met with him at his office?
I had interviewed him a couple times during the pandemic. It was like on Zoom or maybe a phone call, but so not really, not a very close relationship or anything like that.
So, you obviously know LSU very well, and people have. This was a big part of the feature that you wrote about, but people have talked about the fit, right? All the things you mentioned. You know this place well. What do you think? Like, what do you think about Brian Kelly being here?
Well, it's weird, yeah, right. It's an unusual marriage, and it's not just because you didn't get somebody from the South, you didn't get rah football coach like you've had in the past. You look at Brian Kelly's career in his coaching career, and I believe this is correct. It's never been outside of the Midwest. He's never worked outside of the Midwest. And he is, from Boston, and you see his style. He's actually a really funny guy. He's very dry, though. It's a very dry humor that you might not even get some of his jokes, right? Because the way,
we've experienced that already.
They come out right, yes. And so he's just different from the people down there. And anyway, the point I was getting at is all of these things are true. That not from down there, and the personality and not coaching outside the Midwest, but really the big kind of, I think, difference in why Brian Kelly and the fit seems weird is because Louisiana is so different, right? South Louisiana especially is so different. It's funny, today I was meeting with a few football at another school earlier today, and one person asked me on the staff, we started talking about LSU, and they said, is that place a different country? Because of the stories you hear coming out of South Louisiana in LSU. And that's why the fit seems just kind of weird, because, man, it's so different down there. When you bring in somebody outside to such a different place, it's automatically the reaction is, oh, that's not going to work. When, if we go back right, in 2000 or 99, December of 99, the hiring of Nick Saban from West Virginia, had never worked in the South, I don't believe, and was coming from Michigan State. So the bottom line, Matt, if you win, right, you're going to be just fine. If you lose, then they're going to bring up, right, it's bad fit. Yep, see, fit didn't work, kind of that sort of thing.
Yeah. I have two more things. Number one, in reading the feature, which is very well done, by the way, the thing that I was most that I took away most was not anything that Brian Kelly told you, but actually something that Brian Polian told you. And specifically talking about facilities, where he said, I'm paraphrasing, I don't have the quote right in front of me, but something along the lines of, we thought what we had at Notre Dame was really good until we got here and were blown away. How much did you have the same reaction there? And is that sort of the is that like sort of the biggest difference, the lure, the thing that really got Brian Kelly out of South Bend? Because that's the biggest. The people in South Bend, Ross, don't seem to understand the giant chasm between what college football is like here and what it is like there.
Yeah. That my ears definitely perked up when Brian Polian said that. Right, it was like, oh well, don't usually hear honesty quite like that. But I've visited Notre Dame up there. I've seen the facilities. It's an incredibly beautiful place, like campus. Like the campus and the buildings are unbelievable. The history, it's so great. It really is. But they just don't quite have the resources. That's not to say in 5 years or 3 years or whatever that they'll have it, but right now they just don't have some of the things probably that LSU, not just LSU, but half or more than half of the SEC does. They just don't. But what really stuck out to me though, and the facilities is one thing, and that is a big thing, the resources. But man, I can't reinforce enough. I wrote about it a lot. The academic issue at Notre Dame, right? It's more stringent there. There are restrictions. In talking to a couple of really close friends of Brian Kelly, Brian didn't really say it himself, but I got his friends to basically say it. One of them was basically like, yeah, he was frustrated by the academics, and it was kind of like a last straw. And you pile these things on top, right? The resources, the contract, right? He's 90% guaranteed $100 million. So let's not forget that, of course. And then you have the academics, and then you have playing in the SEC, and then and all these things piled on top. And I think at the end he just couldn't turn it down. He just couldn't turn it down.
All right, last thing. You wrote a lot. You obviously, there's always stuff that ends up on like the cutting room floor that just doesn't make it, whatever. Is there anything that was maybe a big overarching takeaway from the entire process of not only writing this and talking to Brian Kelly, but all of the other people associated with and doing this piece?
Man, yeah, there is some stuff that I left on the floor. And it involved the previous coach. It involved, and I think Brian Kelly had a quote in there, so I left it in, but it said, and this is the fifth, I think, different job Brian Kelly has taken over, fifth different school that Brian Kelly has taken over as head coach, and he said that LSU was the worst organizationally that he's ever seen. So, that gives you a little bit of a window into the situation at LSU. But there were some other things. There was a lot of comparisons made between the two coaches, Ed Orgeron and Brian Kelly, and how opposite and different they were, and how Scott Woodward went out in. And look, I mean, there were probably other candidates in the pool. We all know about that. But that ultimately, in the end, he got a guy that was quite the opposite from his previous coach. Whether that was intended or not, it probably was intended. But he got quite the opposite. And I want to add one more thing, and I didn't get into it real deeply. Everybody I talked to for this story, especially around LSU, pointed at Nick Saban, of course, right? He's organized, he's structured, he's poised, he's got the Nick Saban, and everybody just wanted to compare that. And I'll tell you, knowing Scott Woodward, I know that Scott was out to try to find that person because Scott and Nick Saban are really close. They go back to LSU, Matt. I know you know they go back to when Saban was at LSU and Scott was the legislative liaison, whatever his position was there at LSU with Mark Emmert. And he and Saban are pretty close, I think, still. And he knows how Saban does it, how he runs his program. And, Brian kind of, in a way, has that. Again, like earlier I said, he's not that rah-rah football guy that of LSU's last two coaches. He is more of the businessman. And so a lot of that didn't fit in the story, but a lot of comparisons to Nick Saban and a lot of how different, right, the last coach and the current coach is.
You can read it. It's up now at SI.com. Brian Kelly, LSU, and a $100 million gamble. Ross Dellinger of SI. Y'all follow him on Twitter at Ross Dellinger. We appreciate it, man. Thanks as always.
All right. Thanks.
See you, man. Larry Holder's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. I throw out the website because if you go to the website, brgeneral.org, that's where you can get info about the Express Care locations. And you can even check in online. So go to the website, start there, brgeneral.org. You can see the Express Care locations, and you can get info to go check in online, brgeneral.org. The Baton Rouge General Express Care locations are walk-in urgent care locations 7 days a week. So, yes, you can go to any of the Baton Rouge General hospital campuses, but if you have allergies or animal bites, if you've got fever or flu, if you've got nasal congestion or nausea, anything that you need for urgent care 7 days a week, you can get at the Baton Rouge General urgent care locations. brgeneral.org. You can see wait times or check in online. brgeneral.org.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0% for 72 months. Shop our inventory or custom order your Ram with $2,000 bonus cash and a 1,000,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit dreams come true. And this year, we need your help more than ever.
We've interviewed these incredible kids, and each and every one of their stories brings tears to our eyes.
To have a dream granted means more to these families than you'll ever know.
And it wouldn't be possible without your help.
Dreams Come True has been hit hard by the events of the past year.
So we ask for your support in helping this incredible cause.
Our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We're inching closer to the draft. By the way, great news. Had a meeting today over at Don Juan Cigar Bar. At Don Juan Cigar Bar. Our draft coverage will be live from Don Juan Cigar Bar on Thursday, the first day of the draft. So the companion show that we have done now for about half dozen years, whatever it is, will be at Don Juan Cigar Bar. You are invited to come. We are fired up for it. Our staff will be there. We'll be broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook. Come hang out, have a stogie, have a few cocktails, whatever, hang out with us. We're looking forward to that night. Larry Holder from The Athletic joins us now. I want to talk a little bit about the draft as we're exactly 2 weeks away. Larry, thanks as always. How are you, man?
I'm good, Matthew. How are you today?
Really well. So I was scrolling through Dane Bugler's mock draft over at The Athletic where he did a 7-round mock, and he kind of has the Saints doing what I think a lot of people are anticipating, going offensive line and receiver at 16 and 19. Let me ask you first and foremost, where do you stand on what the Saints are going to do? Are they going to make those picks or are they going to move?
I think they're going to make the picks. And I forget where Mickey Loomis said this maybe a few days ago, but he made a mention of, look, if we stay at 16 and 19 and then you look at the second-round pick, and the way their board goes, they might have the top 20 or 25 players off their board with those 3 picks. And I think that they're going to stay there. And it's funny, I actually have a story coming out tomorrow where I did 40 mock draft simulations using 2 different sites. And the simulator gets really trade happy and tries to push the Saints to trade up for a quarterback or even trade up for a lineman. And I think both of those routes would be a mistake. I just think that tackle, there are plenty of good ones. Wide receiver, there are plenty of good ones where they're going to be picking in both of those spots. They both need spots. So I think they stay put, and I just can't see them trading up for a quarterback. I just think it would go against what they're trying to get done this year and fill some of these spots that are certainly open. And if you trade up for a quarterback, you've got open holes with players that you're not going to totally trust.
So there was also, you're referencing a conversation Mickey Loomis had with Peter King, that Peter King wrote about.
That's it, yes.
And Peter also mentioned the possibility, which Mickey Loomis mentioned to him, of the Saints trading back in round 1. If there's basically what happened with Chicago last year. They saw Justin Fields drop, they moved up 10 spots. Could the Saints theoretically, when they never trade back, but do you think that's a possibility where they might be willing to move back and recoup the picks that they lost in the Eagles trade?
No. Who are we kidding? No, never. Like you said, they never do it. No way. It's laughable. It's funny. When I was doing just primarily Saints stuff every year, I would go through the scenarios of how they might be able to trade back and what picks they could get. It's a worthless exercise because they don't do it in the first round. And I don't see, if you're trading to get a second first-round pick, I don't know why you'd want to trade back at that point because you've added assets already. So I just can't see it at all. Like I would be floored because, Matt, in typical drafts, your first-round graded players typically cap off at about 20, 22, and that's pretty much league-wide. And so if you're picking at 20 25, you might be picking a second-round graded guy, depending on how your board goes. So I can't see them trading back at all. If they do, look, you and me ought to do like shots on the air live because we would lose bets because neither one of us, I'm assuming, would be betting on them trading back.
I mean, I think we're going to be doing that anyway because we'll be doing our companion show at Don Juan Cigar Bar. So I will be drinking and smoking cigars during the draft. Very much looking forward to it. So I mentioned Dane Brugler over at The Athletic. His mock draft, he has the Saints taking Charles Cross, the offensive tackle out of Mississippi State, at 16. And then Jameson Williams, the wide receiver out of Alabama, at 19. And then taking a safety in round 2. What do you think about that approach of taking offensive tackle, receiver, and safety with those first 3 picks?
I think they would fit everything that you'd really be looking for. Cross, I've seen people have him mocked higher than 16, I think if they get Cross, I think that would be almost kind of a steal. Jameson Williams, healthy, he's probably not lasting at 19. The fact that he's banged up would be why he would last at 19, and I think that would be someone who would be a starting receiver for you for, let's say, 4 years, because I'm not so certain how healthy he's going to be this year, but he could make it back and play. And then, the safety you're referring to is Jaquan Brisker, and he's more of a strong safety. And that would be someone who would probably come in and you would want him to fill the role of Malcolm Jenkins after retiring, because you don't really have anyone totally certain at that spot. You brought in Marcus May to be more of a free safety. So if you'd have Brisker come in, it would be, they don't play the exact same position, but it would be a similar scenario like when you drafted Marcus Williams. He came in, started immediately. Mm-hmm. And I think Brisker would be someone who you would like at that spot. Because, again, like I said, I've run a bunch of these simulators, and Brisker sometimes goes a little higher. Sometimes he reaches the Saints there. And so, I think those 3 picks would be dynamite. I think Dane, I've known him, and he's a stud when it comes to nailing these things down. I think he's spot on with all 3 of those players. It would be a really good draft, those 3 picks, if they were able to get those 3, in my opinion.
What if I think we all generally assume those are 3 spots the Saints have to address at some point in this draft. What's another spot that you would like to see New Orleans address with a reasonable pick? Let's call it with a 3rd round pick.
Adam Troutman hasn't done it for me. I'd look at a tight end. I mean, I think that's got to be something you at least kind of ponder. Maybe someone like Trey McBride. I know he's kind of caught up some steam a little bit here, but I would look at tight end. I would even look. I wouldn't discount running back. At some point, you're going to need a second running back. If, maybe after this year of Mark Ingram's, he plays one more year and that's it. If there's someone you really like there, I haven't said quarterback yet, and I think you look at who the Saints have at quarterback. Would they, if someone like Desmond Ridder fell to them in the 2nd round, or if Matt Corral's hanging around in the 2nd round, I would not be opposed to them taking him. But I don't think it's a necessity that they take a quarterback. So outside of those positions, though, I think I'd like them to see tight end, running back. I think they're okay at corner. Maybe someone that's maybe defensive tackle, but I don't think that's, again, a necessity. And I feel like they're in better shape defensively than they are offensively, and that's such a bizarre thing to say.
I want to dig a little deeper on quarterback, because we are seeing that in a lot of mock drafts. The Saints using their 2nd round pick on a quarterback. What is the logic behind drafting a project at quarterback that high?
I don't see any, especially for the Saints. It's you see them being sometimes projected to trade up to go take Malik Willis. Why? I don't get that logic to me at all. I don't get the logic because here's the thing, he could have the highest ceiling, but he's certainly a project. But Carolina might have to take him. They might have to take. I guess it depends on, Matt, who you think is actually a project quarterback. I'm just. You may have talked about this. You think all of them are projects?
I mean, aren't we assuming here that aren't we assuming that Jameis Winston is going to be the starting quarterback for the Saints this year? If
Absolutely.
you're so
yeah.
absolutely. So any quarterback you draft is someone that is by definition a project. They're going to sit and watch and grow and learn, and they're not ready to play and be your guy right away.
Well, I think that's. I don't know if it's a project. Like was Aaron Rodgers a project?
Yes.
When the Packers
Yes.
took him?
They had no intention of playing him right away. It took him 4 years to play.
I think our definitions of projects are a little different. I think of a project who is not capable of coming in and starting. And now look, you could argue that this entire draft is full of guys who can't come in and start. So I get what you're saying. You and me have differing opinions on Kenny Pickett. I think he's the most ready to play quarterback there is. And so if some team took him like Pittsburgh, if I'm Pittsburgh, I'm starting him. But I'm not totally sold on anybody else in terms of that. So I guess it just depends on your definition. Even though, I think Malik Willis is a project, but he might go 6, which I think that's too much. Even say Trey Lance last year. I would have. I guess I could tag him project, but I wouldn't have tagged like Trevor Lawrence project. I don't even know if I would have tagged Mac Jones project, just because I feel like he has pro skills, and played. So I think it just depends on our interpretation of that word.
We might be getting bogged down in semantics there, but the point is the Saints would be drafting a quarterback that they have no intention of playing this year or maybe even the next 2 years.
I agree, which is why if they trade up and take a quarterback, you should blast them. I would blast them. I think you would blast them too. It would go against totally if they think they can win right now and get to the playoffs, which that's my opinion and that of what they're doing, and I think that's how they're going inside the building. Then getting 2 picks and then going to get a guy that can't even play and may never play. He may never play. That would be a total waste of time, and it would go against everything you've been trying to build this offseason and in the last few years.
He's on Twitter at Larry Holder. Do you think they make another free agent move before the draft?
Any move right now would be a minor move. Okay. So I think that they're biding their time. They might make a move after the draft. Like if they didn't fill a spot, they might make a move there. But at which position? I think it depends on how much they feel like they did in the draft. I'm trying to remember Jameis Winston. They signed him after the draft.
Correct.
And oddly enough, remember a couple of years ago they signed Adrian Peterson before the draft. That was so bizarre. And then they went and drafted. And
they drafted Kamara.
Right. So that was weird.
And I drilled them for drafting Kamara. Like, what? You just signed a running back. Why did you move up in round 3 to take a running back? Now, obviously, he's ended up being a sensational player, and that was a very awful take by me. But the Saints, at that point, Larry, that was the 2017 draft. They didn't deserve the benefit of the doubt at that point. They do now.
No, they did not deserve the benefit of the doubt. But this is a draft where I feel like that they want to try to do the same thing. That's hard to replicate. And it's funny, if you go look back at the 2017 draft, you think of the Saints draft being a really good one, but the rest of the draft class wasn't as great as like we see it in terms of covering the Saints. So they got it even better than maybe we thought. And I feel like this draft though, they need to stick with the spots they know are deep, they know have good prospects. There's no point in gambling on someone unless it's someone like Jameson Williams who's just injured now. When healthy, he could have been the number 1 receiver in the draft class. So they don't gamble early. I think that's something they cannot afford to do.
2 weeks from today. Looking forward to it, man. You can read about it over at The Athletic. He's Larry Holder on Twitter at Larry Holder. And, man, always appreciate a couple of minutes. Have a great Easter weekend, all right?
Yeah, you too. I'm sure we'll talk before then. Good stuff.
I'm in. Be well. We'll see you. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Tell you every single day. And, look, last night the weather here was absolutely horrendous. There was hail in the Baton Rouge area 2 nights ago. Denham Springs and in Baton Rouge proper. Earlier this week, there was hail in Folsom and in the Tangipahoa area. If you've had hail please do not wait. Call Hudco Roofing, 364-1007, 364-1007, or HudcoRoofing.com. I tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's us, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. A Louisiana company that's been around for 20 years, started in North Louisiana, serves the entire state of Louisiana, has Louisiana ownership, uses Louisiana products, commercial or residential. If you're watching, that's a drone video of the church at St. Teresa in Gonzales. Just last week, we redid the roof. They had roof damage from Ida. It was a painstaking process to work through all of it with the insurance to get it all taken care of, but that beautiful church now has a beautiful new roof. If it's commercial or residential, we're thrilled to help you at Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right, it's after further review. LSU and Arkansas game 1, we're inside of an hour away from first pitch. When we come back, we'll take a peek at the starting lineups for the Tigers and the Hogs, how LSU is going to run it out. I don't think that it'll be really any different from what we have been seeing or what we saw near the end of the series with Mississippi State this past weekend. But let the lineups posted here before we get off air. We will run through it. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Kushner.
If you're in a
an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we are waiting on the lineup to be posted for LSU and Arkansas game 1 tonight. We're about 50 minutes away from first pitch. By the way, just a PSA here. Our friend Leah Vann, who's the Advocate beat writer for LSU, her Twitter account was hacked, so she's got a new Twitter until she gets her original Twitter restored. So her new Twitter, Paula, you can pull this up if you want here. This is the profile now for Leah's new Twitter. Because, look, she live tweets the game, and if you're looking for updates from the LSU media member covering the series up in Arkansas, it's at Leah_Vann, V-A-N-N. That's her new Twitter. So it's at Leah, Leah_VANN. If you want to go follow Leah's new Twitter, she'll be live tweeting from that Twitter feed until she can get her Twitter feed restored, which, man, that sucks. But it's kind of two things. Number one, go to your settings if you're on Twitter and enable two-factor authentication. Like, that's a way to prevent your account from ever being hacked. You put those extra security measures in place. It's kind of a pain in the butt whenever you want to go log in. I get it, but it prevents stuff like this. Someone can't hack your account, or it's much less likely, obviously, that they'd be able to hack your account. So anyway, but so waiting on that lineup to be posted, but follow Leah's new Twitter account. It is posted. Okay, good. Thank you. I was like, come on, LSU, what y'all doing, bro? I'm like, we go through this every game. It's like, we know it's coming, man. Like, just go ahead and post it. Usually it's an hour before first pitch, but all right, so it is live now. I mean, you got to fill because it's like, it's coming any second. All right, here we go. Let's run through it. We know Mikhail Hilliard's going to be on the bump. So, first glance, no, it's not going to. Well, there's one change, but let's run through it. All right, Trey Morgan's at first, so we'll go Morgan. Cruz will bat second to play center. Barry third and playing third. Kay Doty will bat fourth and play second. Josh Pearson will bat fifth, play right field. That was a change when they slid Joe Bear down in the lineup. It paid off with Pearson hitting the 2 dingers on Sunday. Thompson will bat sixth and play short. Joe Bear will DH, bat seventh. And then Hayden Travinski will catch tonight. We saw Hayden Travinski catch the first 2 games last week, and then McManus caught game 3. Maybe the same approach this weekend. We'll see. And then Josh Stevenson will get the start in left field, and he'll bat ninth. So I like this lineup a lot. When Jay Johnson talked about it before they left, Pearson being in the lineup was sort of the no-brainer. It's like he essentially said he's your everyday right fielder now. And should be. They like his bat. He gives you very productive, mature ABs. I like that a lot. And he solidifies you in right field. You have an outfielder playing outfield now instead of a guy who you're trying to just get their bat in the lineup and you're hiding him in the outfield. Now you're getting both here. And I like Josh Stevenson a ton. I think he is a terrific prospect that is going to solidify your defense in the outfield. You are inarguably a better defensive outfield today than you were when you started the Mississippi State series. That's not even debatable. So I like this a lot. I like this lineup an awful lot. I'll be interested to see what they do behind the plate with Travinski and McManus. Travinski, we know he's hit the homers. He's had a lot of swing and miss. Moose and I were joking about the other day. I was like, he's at him done. I mean, he homers or he strikes out. I mean, it's kind of what he is right now. So, but if you're 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, but the one is a 3-run homer, you'll take it. Like, that's a lot of what Major League Baseball has become. And if Travinski gives you that at the bottom of the lineup, you'll certainly take it. So Travinski will be behind the plate catching Mikhail Hilliard tonight, and the Tigers will play Arkansas. We're now about 45 minutes away from first pitch. And Jay Johnson, when he met with the media, understandably coming off a sweep of Mississippi State, likes where his team is.
It's about the play. Nothing we did last weekend means a hill of beans relative to this weekend. I think, might help me with some peace of mind of lining the pieces up, but the pieces still have to go out and execute. And our coaches still have to do a good job in the preparation, and the players have to stay in the right headspace and go out and compete. I think, we're getting maybe to a place where we know who's better at that, on the mound and at the plate, and that's a great thing, and you need that, if you're going to play well and win. So I'm excited. I'm just excited for this weekend. I think it's great, and happy we are where we are as we're heading there.
Larger the sample size, the more they know their roster, the more they solidify spots. I mean, Will Safford was your opening day starter at second base. Jacob Berry was in right. I mean, you've changed a lot here through the first halfway point of the season, essentially. So you're learning about it. And Jay also talked about sort of that road to this point.
They need to stay focused on the task at hand, and away from here, they've done a good job of that. I think the Houston trip was invaluable for us. Just those crowds were really big on Friday and Saturday. And, you don't see something like that till you go to Omaha. But the next closest thing is when you're Florida had a full house, Mississippi State, and I'm sure Arkansas would be the same.
LSU, they've won their 2 road series. They've lost their 2 home series. Here comes your 3rd road series, and it's where we looked before the season at this is the toughest back-to-back weekends. At State, at Arkansas, we sweep State. What can you do for an encore? We'll find out coming up here in about 45 minutes from right now. It's very hard for me to pick LSU to win the series. Arkansas is a very talented team, and I think they're a little more stable with their starting pitching. Certainly, LSU swung the bat a little bit better. Arkansas has won the last 2 series against LSU. Before the Mississippi State series, coming off of Auburn, said what I would really like to see is LSU just split those 2 weekends. Go 3-3 against State and Arkansas. And if you're able to do that, I think you come out of it feeling pretty good about yourself with the second half of the schedule ahead. Well, you're already there. So you win 1 game this weekend, you're in a great spot above 500. Going in, you're at 8-7. If you win 1 this weekend, you're at 8-7 going into the second half of conference play. I'll take that, because if you just replicate that and you finish 16-14, you're hosting a regional at the box. You're not going to be a national seed, but they're going to have to do something pretty special, I think, in the second half anyway to get into that position. Not saying it's impossible, but you're in a really good spot if you manage to go get a game up in Fayetteville. You win 2, all of a sudden now you're leading the West. Now you maybe are in that conversation in the second half of the season to make a push for a national seed. All right, it's After Further Review. Jimmy will be with us to wrap up the show. Little Otter Locks next. Stick around.
AFR.
Better coverage for less money. That's Insurance Network of Louisiana. Had a conversation with a friend today. I don't know that they would want me to say their name, so I won't. But it happened. Looked at their insurance statement for homeowners insurance and realized year to year there was a massive increase. Too many of us don't look at that. Too many of us just have the auto draft set up and you just keep paying it month after month after month. You never think about it. Increases are going to happen, but significant increases, come on. That's where Insurance Network of Louisiana can step in. Let them shop independently for free to see if they can find you better coverage for less money. Sometimes the answer is, hey, what you have now is we couldn't find anything better than what you have now, so stick with it. That happens. But what if you're overpaying? What if you are underinsured? Let Insurance Network of Louisiana find out for free. 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450, or online at lainsurance.net.
Spring clean your garage with the new or pre-owned vehicle from Corval Toyota. It's an easy process to pre-order your next vehicle with us. So reserve yours today. Come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not 1, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
Hey, look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthier.
My new favorite sport. I found my groove.
I found
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why.
Have you found yours?
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come, final segment on a Thursday edition of AFR. One thing left to do, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Bocage Barbershop in Bocage Village, serving the Bocage, Goodwood, and Town Center area since 1959.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Pretty good after last night. Not bad.
Well,
I mean, why be a billionaire when you can live like one? Come on, baby.
I did fade you, though, on the Pels pick. You went Spurs in 6. I played the Pelicans last night.
No. Let me rejog you.
No. I know what you said. And you said, wait, take the money line, lie bet. I didn't lie bet it, but you did say take the Spurs in 6.
Spurs plus 6, double on Pels when they get into the when they get in game. It was a short window, but I got -1.5 at the first time. -1.5, -105. So I mean, when you were sweating,
I just took the Pelicans
that
and
backdoor cover, I was looking from the middle right there. But
I wasn't sweating nothing, bro.
It was a great atmosphere.
Rocking
great
shit.
atmosphere. Well, they did cut it to 6. They did put it on the number at one point, and then the Pels immediately responded. But no, in control for the vast majority of the game. Because, but that 16-1 run kind of made it interesting. But Ingram hit the big shot. All right, Galucci. We're getting late in the
By the way, our mutual friend, the Brain Haldane, his children love Otter Locks, especially on Thursday, the day that, quote, the Gucci, the Gucci comes on.
I had somebody doing some fundraisers for the school today and said, you know what? I don't really know much hockey, but you made me some money the other night. So, but anyway.
All right, what do we got? I don't want to run out of time. What do we got?
All right. Galucci text back. Early games suck. Okay? Just telling you, we're not forcing said the ridiculously high lines. What you have, Matt, is you got some inflated numbers on teams trying to get into the playoffs. and other teams maybe, sort of that garbage time for the NHL. But especially in the thing, he'll be with us at 6:30. So on your ride home, and you will be in the car for a little bit. There's a moderate amount of traffic out there today on Holy Thursday. But 6:30, we will get in if he has some late picks. My buddy Dave Koken, I do a Bet Rivers podcast with him. And Dave is, let's just say, he's been handicapping for quite some time. He looks at me as a young whippersnapper. So here's his pick for tonight.
Real quick, I literally have like 30 seconds, so go. Toronto
and Yankees over 8.5. And the Angels' first 5 innings with Ohtani minus $1.40. That's at Bet Rivers. I've seen some other sites there. Okay. Don't lay a half a run. You don't want to be tied 1-1 at the end of 5 and lose. But if you can get a money line, like I did at Bet Rivers, Ohtani first 5.
Otter, where are you?
First half hunters, baby, 4-0. We're just winging it.
All right, y'all go see the Otter. Have a great one, Otter.
Okay.
Thanks. We appreciate you. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. Michelli.com since 1947. A year-long celebration of 75 years at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Check them out online to learn more. You know the drill by now. Michelli.com. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, and rent the products you use to weigh and measure in so many different industries. You can find the website, which is just a vast resource. So often what you hear at Michelli is a lot of their clients say, oh, I didn't know you did that. Well, go to the website and you can learn more at Michelli.com. You can see all the industries that they serve. ISO 17025 accreditation is available. You can find that there and more information about it at Michelli.com. Again, Michelli.com. The track system is available. That's 24/7, 365 access to all of your calibration certificates, and that is a free service to all of their clients. That's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Check them out online, Michelli.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0% for 72 months. Shop our inventory or custom order your Ram with $2,000 bonus cash and a 1,000,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information.